Hey distance learners, it's Miss Henson. I'm back with just a quick tutorial to help you work through how to use that Notecard source sheet that you downloaded. So I'm here on Schoology. I think I'm actually in second block's class currently, but first and second block are identical. As you scroll down, here in the Unit 4 folder, in the Notecard files, you've downloaded this particular form, Notecard template for distance learners. Now, if you're in another 9th grade lit class and you're watching this tutorial, you would have to look at where your teacher has placed the document on your Schoology page, but the document should be the same. Now, I'm on my MacBook at home, so I can split screen, but it's this document right here. So what I'm going to do is show you very quickly, based on these models, how to fill in and start compiling your sources and your lines to find your poem. Now remember, you can only use the resources that are available. Oh goodness, of course I'm in the middle of recording and Schoology decides to have a bad gateway. There we go. Let's refresh our screen. All right, so you can only use the sources located in the approved source folder. So I'm going to come out here to the Poetry Foundation website. I'm going to launch that link in a separate tab. And I'm going to go hunting for a poem to put some lines in. So I know I got to have certain continents and author requirements and things like that. So I can browse by a poet's birth date, a school or a period, or the poet's region. So if I click poet's region, it will show me all of the different areas of the world. And so to keep with the theme, let's go with Australia. That's a continent. So if I click Australia, it's going to think for a second for me. Lots of seconds. Thinking. And hopefully here in a moment, it's going to produce a list of poems for me to think through. So while it's thinking through that, let's pop on over to this source, all right? The sheet that we need to fill in. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to move across the screen a little bit here, of course, so I can make it a little bit larger. So remember, up top, you have how to type in the sample note card template and how to title your source sheet. All right. So first things first, when I find a poem, I'm going to need to get the source information. So remember, one of the reasons we've never used websites for this project before is it can be a lot of information to compile. All right, but you're going to need to check not only for the original publication information on the poem, but also your website's information. It looks like my tab is loaded here, so let's see what I find. All right, let's go with this guy. He looks cool, and I like the title of this one, Winter Dawn. So I'm going to let that run here and see. So this guy's name is Kenneth Seltzer, and he's from Australia. Apparently he lived from 1901 to 1971, and the poem is called Winter Dawn. So here's the poem. And it goes on for a while. So I'm going to pretend, for the sake of argument, that I want these first 2 lines. Now, I would highly suggest always read the entire poem and pick poems that remind you of your own experience that you're writing about. That's the best way to compose your poem. But this is more of a tutorial. So I want these first 2 lines. Now, the perk here is if you do this right, you can copy them, all right, and paste them into the green line selected bucket, but they're going to be huge and look funky. So you've got to make sure that you drop down the arrow here and click Keep Text Only. That will make them the same. I know that these are lines 1 through 2 of this poem, and that the poem is titled Winter. Is it Winters or Winter? Let's find out. Winter Dawn. I would definitely suggest kind of a split screen mode like this on your computer. Makes it easy to bounce back and forth. Now, like I said, I'm on my MacBook at home where I can do split corners and stuff like that. That makes it easier. But if you can kind of look back and forth, it makes the typing so much easier. So I'm going to type the title of my poem, making sure I include the period. I know my author. It says his name right here. Ooh, helps if I spell it right, guys, huh? Slessor. Kenneth, last name, comma, first name, period. And this guy was from Australia. Awesome. The only other thing I need to type in this document is the source number. So this will be source number 1. So then I need to come up here and I need to look to see if I have the original publication information on this source. So here's my poem. See, here's my original publication information. So I've got to type this into the box. So let me slip back over to my document that says I need the title of the collection or the book it was published in, the editor or translator's name, the publisher, and the year. So what was it published in? It was published in a book called Selected Poems. Not a very creative title, but okay. So I need to type Selected Poems, comma. Now, of course, that needs to be italicized. So I'm going to go back to my Home tab here and click the Italics button. All right, then I need the editor or the translator's name. So I need to look and see if I'm given one of those. And I'm not. And in Australia, because they're a British colony, they tended to write in English. So you're probably not going to have a translator. And it looks like this was probably Seltzer's original publication, which means it wasn't edited or compiled by anybody. So I can use the abbreviation no editor, comma. I need the publisher of the original piece, which was HarperCollins Publishing. So publishing, and I need the original year it was published, which looks like that's the information, but it doesn't tell me. It tells me it was pulled out of a book that had it from the original, so they don't give me the original publication date. This guy died in 1971. It would be uncommon that he published it, or maybe his estate published it in 1992. I don't have confirmation on an original date, so I'm going to use the abbreviation for no date. Now you'll notice there's 2 periods there, one to end the abbreviation and one to end the entry. Super important. Now I need to type in my website information. So the title of the web page section and the title of the web page. So the title of the web page section here, there really isn't one. I guess we were in the poets section of the Poetry Foundation website. So that's kind of the best way to approach that. So I'm going to type poets, Poetry Foundation, comma. You'll notice they're separated by a colon. And I need to italicize that. Then it says I need the website publisher. So who's paying for this website to be here? It's normally down at the bottom. And it's the Poetry Foundation. Oftentimes, the publisher of the website and the title of the website are the same thing. If I was paying to put a website on the internet, I'd title my website after my company too. So it looks like the Poetry Foundation, and it was most recently updated in 2020. So I can type Poetry Foundation, and then it tells me the date of website update was 2020. And it tells me to put a comma. Super important. The punctuation matters when I score this. Putting something else there or forgetting that comma would have cost me 2 points. And ain't nobody about that. So you got to pay attention to that too. Plus, if you get it right here the first time, building your works cited entries is a matter of copying and pasting. All right, so it's totally worth it to pay attention to the details right now for less work on the flip side. I need the URL, so I'm going to bounce over here and copy that and bounce back over to my URL box and paste. And you'll notice it adjusted the way my page looked just a little bit. That's going to be really hard to avoid. If you turn your ruler on in View and then turn on your ruler, right here, you can see the little gray boxes and you can adjust the size of your boxes some if you need to. Now, of course, I also need the date that I accessed this. So it was 30 November 2020. And just like that, 2 lines down, 10 to go in my quest to craft my found poem. So hopefully you find this tutorial helpful, all right? And as a reminder to go back to about how to work your way through this information and kind of where to look on the website. If you've got questions, don't be afraid to reach out via Schoology message, or your best bet is just to turn your microphone on the Teams call and holler, and we'll be around in just a little bit. Thanks so much, guys.